Dr. Chris's Mega Maggot Medical Update.
Let's face it, whoever does PR for the humble maggot has really dropped the ball.
You the maggot whose father served in Vietnam?
Do you maggots understand that?
You're not even low-life scum-sucking maggots!
But low-life, scum-sucking maggots could actually be the most useful thing to hit medicine since, well, whatever it was that replaced maggots in the first place.
Most people really just know them from looking in their rubbish bin, but maggots are amazing. So we use them in forensic science to work out how long a person's been dead, and we also use them in cleaning wounds.
If you can put aside the ick factor, here's how it works. These little legends are introduced to a chronic wound, eat the dead tissue and promote fresh tissue growth. Crucially, they also kill off the bacteria responsible for infection.
There's absolutely no harm of the maggots going into you and suddenly coming out of your nostrils at a party or anything, which I think is everybody's biggest concern. They can't live inside you without oxygen, so there's absolutely no risk of that at all.
In the UK, maggot therapy was approved in 2004 by the NHS. Fresh data shows that these treatments have risen almost 50% in the past decade. So why is modern medicine turning back to these old remedies when we live in a world with antibiotics? Well, it turns out that's kind of the problem.
Prior to COVID, the biggest pandemic in medicine was antibiotic resistance, and it's still there. The antibiotics that we've developed in the last 80 years are becoming increasingly useless. So we have to look at other ways of treating infections.
And given that resistance, maybe the old ways are the best ways. Throughout history, maggots have been used in treatment by Aboriginal tribes, Mayan healers, and surgeons on the battlefield.
A doctor who was in France during the First World War, he noticed that soldiers who had wounds that were infested with maggots, though disgusting, were less likely to get infections and were more likely to heal quickly.
In Australia, maggot treatment remains out of the mainstream, but researchers say that's something that should change.
We know that the cost benefit is there. Potentially, they should be the front line of defence. We should be going in hard with the maggots, with the cheapest, easiest approach to something to begin with, before we go into something that I guess is a little bit more invasive.
So do we need to get over the ick and embrace this new old form of therapy? Because as we always say on the Mega Maggot Medical Update,
Have you tried putting a maggot on that?
What is going on in the medical community? I understand antibiotics might not be working as well, but does that mean we have to go all the way back to maggots?
Yeah. I mean,
Like, is there nothing in between antibiotics and maggots?
probably not the time for a family experiment on the weekend, just putting some maggots on a wound. Like, you've got to get them off eventually. They can't just keep on eating.
I mean, you're saying, like, come on over, but don't move in. You know, come do your thing, see you later. But I feel like it's the ibis that then got transformed into the bin chicken. I think it's more about our relationship currently with the maggot.
Oh, we need to rename it, you reckon?
No, well, we've just put really derogatory connotations around it. And
the bin guy?
I'm just a man of the maggot. Did you listen to his report?
Thank you.
I thought it was pro-maggot propaganda, and I find it creepy.